Hey guys, how you doing? This is your boy Shamari, and welcome to the first episode of the Playbook, only on YouTube. All right, guys, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the business life cycle. We're going to be talking about the stages that make up the business life cycle and why it's important for you to know what stage your business is at and how you can get your business to the next level. The first segment that we're going to be going over today is called the breakdown. We're going to be breaking down what the actual business life cycle is. So, the business life cycle is made up of 5 stages. Now, different businesses might view the life cycle in a different way, and they might have these switched up in a different order. But this is from my research and my years in business. This is what I've discovered. So the first phase in the business life cycle is the startup phase. That's the most common phase, obviously, because you got to be a startup when you first start your business. The next phase is the growth phase. And this is typically what you see happening to a business when they get a large influx of cash. You know, typically businesses that go get funding from venture capitalists or angel investors typically move their business from startup into a growth phase fairly quickly because they have a large amount of cash. And then if your business makes it out of the growth phase without dying, without failing, you're going to move into what's called the mature phase. And this is typically, you know, the larger businesses like the Amazons and the Walmarts and the McDonald's of the world. They've already moved past their growth phase and now they've flatlined in terms of growth. And they're really just holding on to their position in the marketplace. And that's typically what the larger scale businesses are focused on. And then if you've moved out of the mature phase, you typically have 2 directions that you can go in. The next phase after that is the expansion phase. So the expansion phase is typically when you have flatlined your growth, and now to avoid a decline, you're looking to find a new revenue stream or a new business that you probably are acquiring, getting into, different things like that. But we'll get into the specifics of that in the next segment. And then the next phase after that would be the decline phase or the renewal phase. It's actually the decline/renewal phase. That's what I call it. And this is typically the phase where you make a decision. It's either fight or flight. Either you figure out another way to get your business back in the game, or you kind of let your business die. And that's typically what happens to 90% of businesses out there in the world. That's why there's such a small percentage of businesses that actually make it to that larger scale, 20, 30-year-old business. There's a reason for that, and it's because businesses don't know that they're in this stage, the decline stage. So why is it important for you to know about these 5 stages and to know which stage your business is in? It's very simple. If you're in the startup phase and you're doing things that growth companies focus on, you're typically going to miss the boat because you're not doing the things necessary for a startup company in order for it to move into the next phase in its life cycle, right? The next stage is to be a growth company where you're growing your revenues and all that kind of stuff. So if you're in one phase and you're doing something that really you should be waiting to do, that's typically why businesses fail, because they're trying to jump a little too far ahead. They're not focusing on what's important in the moment. So if you're not doing things that are important in that phase, you're gonna miss the boat and end up skipping over the other phases and going straight into decline. So we're gonna be going over what you actually need to focus on in the next segment. But that's typically the reason why you need to know what stage your business is in its life cycle. So we're going to get into the next segment now. All right, guys. So in this segment is called What is the Play? And basically, if you guys have ever played sports, you know that a play is basically a strategy that your coach puts together in order for you to advance or win the game. If you're a basketball team, a play is something that you run in order to get the basketball inside of the hoop without defenders stopping you. So that's what a play is, and we're gonna break down some plays for you guys in each phase of the life cycle. So the first play that you need to be focused on, the first strategy you need to be focused on is awareness activities, awareness strategies. So a startup needs to be focused on building brand awareness, brand consideration. They need to be focused on building that reputation for themselves. So if you guys look at Uber, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, any of the big time startups that we've seen in the past, what is the one thing that they focused on in the beginning stages of their company? Well, they focused on awareness. They focused on storytelling. They focused on getting people onto their platform, right? It wasn't so much about advertising dollars in the beginning for these companies, because why? They're not focused on that right now, right? If you're trying to get advertising dollars before you have a large audience, you're not really going to get the most bang for your buck. So what they did was they focused on building that audience up, focus on building that awareness around their business. And then once they had enough buzz, enough awareness, enough exposure, then they were able to focus more on building revenue and monetizing that attention and monetizing that awareness, so to speak. So that's what you want to focus on when it comes to the first stage in your business, which is the startup phase. The next phase in your business, which is the growth phase. So once you've moved past that awareness or exposure phase and you're moving more into a growth phase, so you're trying to grow the business, what you want to be focused on is sales volume. So whatever way that your business makes money, you want to be focused on getting as many sales and as many customers as you can. Why? Because like I said in the last segment, what a lot of businesses fail to do is they don't get as many customers as they can in a time when they're just getting customers like crazy. They're focused on too many different things and they're not focused enough on sales, and they typically miss the boat and they don't grow large enough for their business to compete against the larger brands, because that's typically what happens, right? The cachet of your business, the thing that makes your business exciting isn't there anymore. And so you need to focus really more on what you've built so far, right? So, and then once you get all of that in, what's the result of that, right? It's revenue, money, cash. They always say cash is king, right? So this is why you want to focus on sales volume, because you'll have the revenue to then hire new employees, buy new equipment, buy new space, move your office into a new space, a bigger space to accommodate all of that growth. And essentially that's what you want to be focusing on in that stage of your business. Now, once you've moved on to the next stage in your business, let's say you've survived the growth and startup phases, and now your growth is starting to plateau a little bit, it's starting to flatline a little bit. This is when you've moved into the maturity phase. So, just like a human being, businesses have that growth phase. We have that growth spurt, and then we don't grow anymore. Our pimples are going away and we're starting to develop into who we are as adults. It's the same thing with businesses, right? Once they get past that growth phase and they're starting to mature, now you're starting to focus on more of the things that grow your business in different ways. So you're now focused on market share. You're now more focused on profitability. You want to make sure that your business is more profitable than it was in the growth phase, because typically in the growth phase, you're not profiting that much because you're just taking all of your money and you're putting it back into marketing, back into advertising, back into promotion to continually get more sales and to continually grow. So now that you flatlined in that growth, now is when you want to get into the weeds of your sales and get into the weeds of your revenue and figure out ways to increase your profit margins. And that's why, if you notice, the bigger players, they're not too focused on, the things that the smaller businesses focus on, because they've already got that, right? So that's what you want to focus on in that phase of the business. Now, let's say your business is profitable, it's grown, It's got plenty of awareness, and now, you know, the market is sort of, you know, the high of what your business has done so far is sort of tapering off. This is when you're moving your business into the expansion phase. And in the expansion phase, you're really just trying to find new ways to earn money. And so new revenue streams, new income streams is really the focus. And there's actually different ways that you could build new revenue streams. And I'll get into that in more detail in the next segment. But the expansion phase, that's essentially what you want to focus on. You want to focus on getting new money, new revenue streams, so that you can sort of put your business back a little bit into the growth phase. It's not going to be a growth company, but now you're going to have little departments and little sectors within your business that will go into growth phases. And we can go into a little bit more detail in the next segment, but I just wanted to explain to you guys the overarching strategy, the high level strategy of what you're trying to do in that phase. So that's essentially what you're trying to do there. Now, let's say let's say you haven't really found that thing to expand into, and let's say your business is kind of stuck where it's at. This is typically when you fall into the decline phase. So if you're expanding your business into a new area, that is considered a renewal of your business, and then you're gonna kind of go back into the startup phase, so to speak. But if you didn't do that and you messed that part up, then you typically run into a decline. Now, here's the thing about a decline phase. You don't know that you're in the decline phase until it's too late. Most business owners don't see that they're in the decline phase until 2 to 3 years after they've started the decline phase. So that's typically when you want to start looking at options of how to exit your company, right? Or maybe find a way to revitalize your company. If you're in this phase, it is all hands on deck. You know, fires are everywhere. You got to put them out as soon as possible. And so you have to put all of your intention on what is causing the decline and try to fix that. And so essentially in the decline renewal phase, that is what your main goal or focus is on. So if you guys really think about it, it's really just 4 stages that you have in a business life cycle. But the reason I split the 4th stage into 2 is because expansion and decline are really 2 different things, right? The difference is if you expand your business and it's successful, then you enter a renewal phase in your business, and essentially that cycle starts over and you're back in the startup phase. So that's what we were talking about earlier. Now we're going to get into the next segment where we're going to actually talk about specific plays that you can run in your business tomorrow or next week, you know, to get your business to the next level. And I hope, at least in this segment, you're able to understand what phase of the life cycle that your business is in. All right, guys. So now we are going to run a play for you guys. We're going to show you guys how to run these plays specifically for your business, depending on what phase your business is in. So let's say you guys are in the startup phase. Let's say you guys are a small business and you're in the startup phase. What you'd want to focus on to build awareness, the easiest way to build awareness for your business would be video ads. Now, I don't care what platform you guys use. You can use Facebook, you can use Instagram, you could use YouTube, you could use TikTok. It doesn't really matter what platform you use, but you want to use a platform that you're more comfortable with. Really, you can use any platform, but the platform that I would suggest that you use in this video today would be the one that we're on today, YouTube. Why is that? Well, Google is still the largest platform on the planet. So if you're gonna run a brand awareness campaign, I would typically use video ads on YouTube, because why? You can actually create audiences that view your videos straight on YouTube, straight on Google Ads platform, and you could build these audiences to thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. You can also do this on Facebook as well. You can also build audiences on their platforms. That would be the play that I would run to build awareness for your brand, to build awareness for your business. Is I would run video ads and then build audiences of the people that view your ads for at least 10 seconds to 30 seconds of your video. Even if your video is an hour long, you want to build those audiences. That is the play that I would run. I would run video ads on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. and then build audiences of the people that watch those videos. If you're in a growth phase, or if you're trying to move into your growth phase and you want to focus on sales volume, the easiest way I would say to acquire new customers on the internet would be to create what's called an irresistible offer. Now, an irresistible offer is defined as a offer that is made for your product or service that is so low priced that it could be considered an impulsive purchase from your customer's point of view. Something that costs $2, $5 is nothing for people to buy nowadays. That is the easiest way to create new customers for your business. And I guarantee you guys, if you implement this in your business, so if let's say you're a chiropractor and you're giving away massages for free, and you're noticing that you're not getting a lot of customers from that, put a little price tag on it. Make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe you're giving away, a robe, or maybe you're giving something else within that appointment. So you're not just doing a back rub. Maybe you're doing a back crack, or, something that is a little bit more valuable to the customer, something that isn't your typical offer, something that is a little bit less than your typical offer, but it has immense value and it will create new customers for your business. If you run this play in your business, I guarantee you'll have a huge influx in sales. Now, let's say you're in the mature phase of your business. So let's say you're a little bit larger scale business. You have a lot of locations. You had your growth phase. That's what got you to the amount of locations that you have. But your growth has plateaued, it's tapered off, and you don't want to get into that decline phase. What you would want to focus on is expansion. So there's 3 ways that you can expand your business into another area. And those 3 ways are new products or services, new audiences, or new locations or new markets. So for me, if I was running a car detail shop and I was running it in the Toronto area here where I live, and I wanted to expand into a new area, what I would do is I would run ads to the new area that I'm thinking about going into, and I would provide content. That content would be related to cleaning your car, maintaining your car, and making sure that people understand what they need to do to keep their car clean. And then what I would do is I would create an irresistible offer for those people. And depending on the amount of people that purchase that offer or sign up for that offer, that will give me an indication that that is a market that I would have success in. I would do that research and I would validate that new market before I would just go and buy a new place and assume that that is a great place to have it in. That's one way you could do it. Another way is just a new audience. Let's say you're a beauty brand and you've been focusing on women as your audience. Let's say you want to switch that audience to men. That's an easy way for you to take a product that's already working with one demographic and switching it to another demographic that's underserved, because why? Most beauty brands don't focus on males. And if you understand that market well, by doing research and validation, you can actually create a new audience and expand your business into a new area that way. And then of course, creating a new product or service, that's probably the easiest way to do it. You go to the same market and the same audience that you're already targeting, and you just find a new way to service that audience, find a new way to serve that audience with a new product, a new service, something that's like an add-on to what you're already doing. And we call that in the marketing community a ascension offer. And that's just a new way to expand your business as well. All right, so those are the different plays that I would run to avoid the decline phase. Obviously, if you're in the expansion phase and you're successful at expanding into a new area, you're gonna hit that renewal phase, and then you'll be a new startup company, so to speak. Not really, because your business is already big, but you'll be acting more like a startup because you're in a new market, or you're in a new audience, or you're selling a new product. So that's typically what you want to do to avoid that 90% of businesses that fail. My goal as a business owner, as a marketer, is essentially to help as many business owners as I can to avoid that decline phase, because I would like to change it up. There's not a lot of businesses that actually make it. And I feel that the more businesses that make it will allow more jobs for people, and that would be more money in the economy. So if you guys run these plays for your businesses, if you guys analyze your business, where it's at, the activities that you currently have, where your customers are within the life cycle of your business, you'll understand if you're in the startup, growth, mature, or expansion phase of your business. And understanding what phase you are in your business and what you got to do to get into the next phase will keep your business alive. This is what the big guys are doing, and that's why these companies are able to stay around for 20, 30, 40 years. And that's why these companies are turning into billion-dollar and trillion-dollar companies, is because they're constantly keeping their businesses fresh. So I want you guys to do the same thing. If you guys have any questions on any of the stuff that we spoke about today, please leave a comment in the comment section. If you guys liked what we spoke about today, please hit the like button. It's gonna help me with the YouTube algorithms. It's gonna help this video get on the recommended pages so more business owners can see this. And if you guys want to see the next episode, please hit the subscribe button and hit that bell so that you can be notified when we release episode 2 next week. We're gonna do our best to release these on Fridays, so look out for us every single Friday. We're also gonna be taking little clips and dropping them throughout the week, and we're gonna also be taking little micro clips and putting that on our Instagram. So follow us on Instagram. We're gonna be putting it on our Facebook, so follow us on Facebook. Follow us anywhere that you go for content. We'll be there, and I will see you guys on the next episode of the Playbook. Peace out for now.